I'm telling you, if you have a lifted truck, you need these.
We gon' pull up in them big bodies, Them chains on, that's the Illuminati. So much money, you gon' think they signed me. But we just out here independent grinding.
What's going on, everybody? Excuse my voice because I think I'm getting a little sick, losing it a little bit. Plus I was at chili cook-off, screaming here and there, so it's kind of hard for me to talk right now. Hopefully I don't actually lose it, because then you can't make a video without a voice, right? Anyways, so today we are installing something essential. If you have a lifted truck like me, nice big one, you just need to have them. There's no way around it. And what I'm talking about is extended brake lines, preferably stainless steel. I don't even think they sell them any other way, but extended steel braided lines are a must. You need to have them if you have a lifted truck. And I'll tell you why. First of all, if we use my truck as an example, you can clearly see how totally messed up this is and tight, and like this bracket's like not even on. It's like angled up a little bit, and then this goes down here. I don't even know why. This bracket is supposed to be way up here. This little line right here is bent all the way down. It's supposed to be bent all the way up here and chilling out up there. Same thing with this side. Look at this. What we get? What is this? Oh, I don't. What? That's not good. That's not good. Also, the thing is, trucks already are pretty heavy and they're hard to stop. Once you add gigantic, massive, heavy wheels on it, it makes it that much harder to stop. And when brake fluid compresses, it gets really hot. And the more it has to stop, the hotter it gets. These rubber brake lines are gonna expand. It's just not good. It's not good. So I'll go get my new brake lines in a second, but pretty much the steel braided lines are a lot stronger. Steel braided, literally like a steel braid. They don't expand as much, which means the fluid can't expand as much when it gets hot, which means you get better brake feel, stops better, stops quicker, a lot safer. And then on top of that, they're extended too. I have mine extended, I believe 12 inches, just so we can have adequate play, you know, everything's nice and loose in there. So if I go over a bump or something the wrong way, my line's not gonna stretch and pop out or anything like that. So on top of them being stronger, they're also a lot longer, which is what you need when you lift your truck. So let me go open this box and show you exactly what they look like. So this one right here is one of the front lines. Let me see if I can get a close up. Definitely see the steel braided weave in there. And then they're coated too with like some type of rubber or whatever. And you can actually get these whatever color you want, pretty much. They make purple, red, blue, literally whatever color you want. So if you have like, you know, all your under stuff coated blue, you can get some nice blue steel braided lines to match. And these are PMF, by the way. I ordered these from PMF. They are a great company, known for their lifted truck stuff. So I feel very confident that these are made really well and they will work perfectly. The color I opted to get is called Smoked. So they're pretty much like black, but they're not really black. They're pretty much like a dark gray. And you can see the weave in it, and it's pretty cool. And I don't really have a second color, so I don't really care for like a colored one. And these, when you go on their website and you pick color, these ones are the ones that they pretty much always carry in stock, and when you pick the color it says most likely in stock for these only. The other ones, you know, they may have to be built or whatever once you order them, and I kind of needed them quick so I can lift my truck and be safe, which is no problem because black fits perfectly with my truck. Now what I haven't decided yet, you see this bracket. Now I don't know if this is this side or the other side, but these are the same brackets right here. Okay, yeah, so this is this side. You can see that these are the same brackets right here. And then this goes down back here, and then the long part right here goes straight up. Now I don't see many people using this bracket, so I haven't decided yet, but I may just take this off and let it run free. We'll see once we get it on there. Now for brake fluid, I have Ford DOT4 high performance brake fluid. The reason I got DOT4 instead of DOT3 is because this one is supposed to have better heat resistance or a higher boiling point. And with all this weight that's got to stop, didn't want to take any chances. We got DOT4 brake fluid from Ford, and that should do the trick. I actually have 2 bottles of these just in case, because I don't really know what's going to happen. So I'm looking in the box here. I have one left and one right front brake line, and I have one rear brake line. Now I'm not really sure where this goes, but I mean, I could just get under there and see just by the connections where it goes. The front's the main one I'm worried about. The back's fine for now. But we are going to definitely install the back just for the added brake feel and, you know, security and stuff like that. But when I ordered it online, it said that the rear was the line that leads into the T or something like that. I don't know. We have to get in there and look. But anyways, I guess we'll start out with the fronts first. Kind of nervous because I don't know how to do this. I've never done brake lines before. I don't want all the fluid to like leak out and then something happen and I have to completely replace all my brakes and calipers and everything. I don't know. That probably won't happen, but I just don't know. I've never done this before. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do is climb up into the engine bay, open up the brake fluid reservoir, make sure that's filled up, and then we're going to even fill it up more. Because what we don't want is that brake fluid reservoir to become empty and then air get in all sorts of spots that you don't want. Because then we're going to be here for a while. Okay, here's our brake fluid reservoir. I'm just going to go ahead and clean around it real quick just so we can see the brake fluid levels really clearly, and so when I take this cap off, no debris will fly in it and potentially contaminate our brake fluid. Okay, so I kind of already messed up because I bought DOT4 fluid thinking that it's a lot more heat resistant than DOT3 fluid and it would be better for this. But I looked on the cap, it said use only DOT3 fluid. So I think I'm going to have to go run and pick up some DOT3 fluid because I'm not trying to mess this up. And now that I'm thinking about it, they're obviously a lot different, DOT3 and DOT4 fluid, and you can't mix them. I'm pretty sure you definitely can't mix them. That'll just destroy everything. So I'm going to just run to Ford real quick, get me some DOT3 fluid, call it a day. So it's the next day. Unfortunately, yesterday, Ford was closed, so I couldn't go and get that brake fluid, but I went this morning and got some. So I got some DOT3 brake fluid, which is what I need. Can't use a DOT4, unfortunately. Thought I was smart, but I'm not. So now we got a little bottle of DOT3 brake fluid from Ford. I hope this is enough because it's a little bottle. Like when I say it's a little bottle. Okay, I'm like a little nervous to do this. Shouldn't be too hard. I'm just gonna go for it. I think I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna pop the hood, make sure that the brake fluid level is good before I actually do anything. Might, you know, put a little more because I don't know how much is going to leak out. I don't know how quick it's going to leak out. I just have to keep an eye on it, but I'm going to pop that and we're just going to take one off and see, we're just going to see what happens. I don't know how else to say it. All right, we're over here taking this off. Right now our brake fluid is about right here. This is max, so I think I'm going to fill it up to max before we start, and once we bleed out everything and take off stuff, it'll drain out. But really the most important thing I was told is to not let it drain all the way out because you get air all up in the system, pain in the butt, don't want that to happen. Alright, I got my brake lines here. By the way, it is so cold. I am freezing. It's like 55 degrees in Florida. Like, bro, nobody moved to Florida for it to be 55 degrees. What's up, bro? Damn. Okay, before I go ahead and start unscrewing stuff, and get into a mess that I don't know, I'm not prepared for. I'm just gonna, let's see. I'm gonna get this line, and I don't know if I was telling you before, but like this like bracket right here, I'm pretty sure all my buddies don't have this bracket, and they just kind of like let it sit just so it's more, less tension, you know, when you turn and whatever. So I might take off that bracket. I'm gonna go like fiddle with it real quick and see if it's worth it to take it off or if it's worth it to keep it on. Okay, so I think I'm gonna take this bracket off only because if you look, if I put this like right where it would be, it's still a little bit tight. And you know, if I turn the wheel this way, you know, give it a little more slack, but when I turn this way, it's just getting real tight there. And I don't know how I feel about that. And then take this, I mean, it's so long. So my idea is that without this brake line can kind of like flow over here, you know, like flow out and come up. That's what I've seen my buddies' trucks like. It's a lot of just like free space. You don't got to worry about anything. So that's what I'm gonna do. So now we just gotta go ahead and pry these brackets off of both the front lines. so before I start pulling stuff off, I have like this little bag of like brackets, and there's like copper washers in here and stuff. And I'm not really sure what they do. So Nick lives right down the street and he's got steel braided lines. Even though it's a different truck, I'm gonna head down there real quick and see if maybe I can figure out, you know, where these washers go and whatnot, because otherwise I'm not gonna use them and I don't want there to be an issue. So I just got back from Nick's house. My buddy Jordan was there too, who also has a big ass 6.7, and I got to look at both their trucks and kind of like see how their brake lines were routed and what like washers were in there and whatnot. So I feel like I have a decent idea sort of what I have to do. So these little copper washers, they looked really important. All the other stuff not so much, these are just brackets, but these copper washers looked really important. And based off of what I saw on their trucks, it looks like the copper washer goes right here. So when you put the new line on, the copper washer goes in between the bolt and the new like fitting right here. The only thing I don't know is that there's 4 of them, and the only thing I could think of is 1, 2, and then in the back 3, 4, but my rear brake line doesn't go to each caliper. My rear brake line only goes to the T, and then from there it splits out to each caliper. Now on the 6.7s, the rear brake lines go to each caliper, so I wonder if this is just like a generic like bracket kit that they just throw in, and it has everything you need, so no matter what truck you have, you know, it works. There's 2 types of brackets that are in here. Got like this little looking wedge sort of thing, and then this bracket right here, which I'm pretty sure this bracket goes up here, and there's a hole right here where the stock brake line was, and that mounts there. This one I'm really not too sure about. On Nick and Jordan's truck, when I looked, this kind of like wedged somewhere in here, but they had like a bracket here. So I don't really know what to do with these. I might just leave them out because I don't really have a purpose for them right now. These I'll probably use, and the washers I'll probably use. So I guess we just start, and we can go ahead and take this one off and try to put the other one on real quick. Alright, I managed to get one line in here. All this stuff, the hard line right here that I had bent down when I installed the lift, now I just bent it back up, and there's actually 2 holes right here. I'm gonna grab a zip tie and zip tie this up here, hold that in place. Otherwise, looks pretty good. I saw Jordan's truck too. He zip tied his brake line to a spring. I don't know if I'm gonna do that or not. Doesn't seem like a bad idea. So I may throw one of them on there. We'll go ahead real quick and just crack this nut. There we go. That frees up this bracket right here. Now we can go ahead and begin installing the passenger side. So while I was spinning this nut on, this is the bottom bolt of the passenger side, look what I found. The little washer came off, copper washer. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this off and replace it with a brand new one. Alright, we've got both front lines in there ready to bleed. I went ahead and threw a little zip tie in there. Same thing on the other side. Got the new washers down there on both sides. And I haven't routed these yet, like zip tied them anywhere. They're fine just hanging just like that, but I'm gonna bleed them first before I even touch any of that stuff, make sure they work. Now I've got the back line here. It's kind of hard to see, but this is where the back line goes. It goes all the way down here, all the way down right here into like this T sort of thing. I'm just trying to see if I can get it to focus. There we go. It's like a T sort of thing. Then we got one hard line that goes all the way to the passenger side, one hard line right here that goes to the driver's side. Alright, I had to stop filming for a sec because I had an issue getting the upper part of this rear line off, and I was bleeding brake fluid everywhere, and I only have one bottle of brake fluid and it's almost done, so I had to fix some, I don't know, I had to fix some stuff. So let me get this done and I'll show you what I was talking about, because we're in like a time crunch now before I lose all my brake fluid and I can't go get another bottle till tomorrow. Alright, I just finished, well, I didn't finish everything, but I finished doing that rear line so it's not leaking anymore. It's really hard to see down there and it's very cramped, so I didn't really know how anything was attached, so I just kind of had to figure it out. Now that I've done it, it's easy. This end right here is the top, and then there's like a bracket that goes, that this like slips into like that, and then the hard line comes from this way on the other side of the bracket and screws into here. I screwed out the hard line. The hard line was dripping like crazy and I couldn't get this off, and I thought maybe you had to get a wrench here, a wrench there, whatever. Wouldn't work. Really, it was this stupid little thing right here. This clips, like the bracket goes here, this goes on the other side of the bracket and clips on sort of like that. I have to hit it in there, but this whole line stays on the bracket by this clip and this little ring right here. Once I got that out, I just was able to slide the new line right in. The lines I got came with new brackets. I slipped that in, screwed the hard line in. We're good to go, baby. It wasn't that bad, but I do have brake fluid all over myself, and there's brake fluid all over the floor over there. Kind of sucks, but I guess now that everything's tight, we can start bleeding the brakes. Well, guess what I just did? Pretty much exactly what I said. Definitely not to do. I let the reservoir run out of brake fluid. Ugh. And I ran out of brake fluid at the same time. So I have to go to Ford now. I have no car there, so I have to wait for someone to come home so I can take their car to go to Ford. I'm gonna buy freaking like 6 things of this shit, because you know what? This sucks. Brakes suck. Alright, I just got back from Ford. I ended up buying an entire case of brake fluid. It's 12 of the bottles that I thought I only needed 1 of. There's no way we're running out now. Grab one of these suckers. .3. Alright, we got this filled up to the maximum. Not letting it go dry. We're good to start now. We've got everything set up here. We've got our tube going from our bleeder screw into the bottle, into fluid already, so that no air gets sucked back up. Alright, we can go ahead and crack our bleeder screw right here. We're only going to turn it about 1/4 of a turn. That's about good right there. Now we can pump the brake a few times. Just all the way in, nice and slow. And let it back out. And I'm going to do this 2 at a time and then go check what everything looks like. Alright, we're looking good. Still looks like we got a little bit of bubbles in there. So we're going to go ahead and do it another 2 times. Now we're looking really good. I don't see any bubbles at all, so I'm going to close this one off and go to the driver rear now. I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same process on all the other wheels, and then I'll show you what we're looking like. This is the last one, driver side front. We can go ahead and crack this. Okay, I just bled all 4 corners in the proper order, and now I'm going to go ahead and hit them again in the same order just to make sure everything's out, you know, give them a few pumps, make sure no bubbles there, and that way so when I get in the truck and I try it, I don't just roll all the way back into my neighbor's fence. So I just finished going around the whole truck again, making sure everything is bled, no bubbles, nothing like that. Everything looks really good. The brake pedal feel is amazing. Now I have to fill up the reservoir again, just make sure it's all solid, good to go, and then we can go take it for a spin. Hopefully it actually stops. Alright, let's see if she stops. Oh, she stops. She stops good. There's garbage cans and they're totally messing up my vibe right now. I have to do a 30-point turn. Alright, there we go. Oh yeah, it stops. Oh, it stops hard too. So loud. I'm sorry, neighbors. I'm sorry, okay? Oh yeah, it stops hard. Yep, she stops good. Plain and simple, if you have a lifted truck or you even just have big wheels on it, you need these. It's like a safety thing. You absolutely need extended steel brake lines. Stock brake lines, especially if you're up at least 8 or 10 inches, stock brake lines are gonna be stretching. They're not gonna be good. And if you have big wheels like I do, 26x16s, you don't even need to be that big. If you're running 30s, 37s, 40s, really anything, you should upgrade to stainless steel brake lines, because once they heat up, because it's so much mass turning and so much mass that it needs to stop, the brake fluid heats up really quick and expands, and those rubber lines are expanding with it. The stainless steel lines aren't going to expand. They're not even going to give a second. So if you're driving around a lot, or you're braking hard for whatever reason, your brake pedal will never get mushy with stainless lines. It's just a safety thing. You know, you never know when you're going to need to come to a quick stop. And you definitely want your big ass truck to stop. So if there's one thing I say that if you have a lifted truck you need, it's steel braided brake lines, hands down. Now on that note, that is one part of my truck that I was really worried about that is now out the way, completed. I'm safe now, we're good to go. Now I'm gonna go have a bonfire on the beach with my friends, and I'll see y'all next time.
Peace. Why they wanna be me? It's not what it seems. Running to the bank, putting wet on my Achilles. We been thumbing blue faces like they Washingtons. On a run from MIA up to Washington.